Okay, I think we are live.
Great.
Yes, okay. So, hello everyone. Today I'm joined by my super client, Aparna Bhalla from Gurgaon. And she's going to share with all of you and me her journey inside Shift, which is my just a second. I'm just making sure we're live. Yeah, we are live. Which is, as you know by now, I've been talking about Shift a lot these past few days. So Shift is my coaching program for weight loss based on habits and mindset and compassionate understanding. That's what Shift is. And today, Aparna is joining me from Gurgaon, and she's going to share her experience of how it was like to work with me and alongside a group of other women inside Shift. So, hi, Aparna, and thank you for joining me here.
Hi, Jasneet. Thank you for inviting me. It's actually a pleasure to be here.
Yay, same here. So, Aparna, to set the ball rolling, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so that the audience knows who they're talking to?
Yes, absolutely. I'm Aparna and I live in Gurgaon. I'm a career counselor by profession. And besides that, I'm married and I have an almost 5-year-old daughter. And yeah, that's pretty much in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
Yeah. Thank you. And in those few words, you've shown us like a small peek of what that a life of a busy working professional, sometimes mostly working from home, how that looks like and feels like in real life, which is what most people are experiencing these days. But
Absolutely.
yeah. So Aparna, you and I, you started. You signed up for Shift in the July 2021 edition,
Okay. Yeah.
right? And so I want to know, before we started working together in Shift, how were things working for you? How did you feel about your health? And what kind of control did you feel around your weight? What were the things that you felt that were perhaps keeping you, that you were struggling with at that point?
So I would say my weight has been an issue for me since I became conscious of it since I was 16 years old. And it's been a perpetual struggle. So I've tried all kinds of things since I was 16. And it could have been a mono diet where I was eating only one type of food for 3 days. It could have been just a 900 calorie diet or a 1200 calorie diet or um, quantified nutrition where you're eating 1500 calories and doing strength training and what else? Everything. I've done everything. Not eating carbs for dinner, not eating food after sunset. So it's been a long journey, and I tried all these things, and it worked. I'm not saying none of these worked. In the end, before I joined Shift, I had identified that carbs were a little bit of an issue for me. Not a little bit, a big issue for me. And so I did keto. And again, I lost weight. When I was doing a 900 calorie diet, I remember I had a 23-inch waist, which was a very big deal for me. But none of it lasted. None of it stayed. It always came back. And now that I recall, when I had a 23-inch waist, was I happy? Was I fulfilled? No, I wasn't. So it was like a constant battle going on from since when I started all this. I mean, my brother's friend told me, listen, ever since I've known you, your sister's been on a diet. That was my reputation.
Yes, I
So it
hear
was a
you.
struggle. And then I reflected and I tried to identify what has been the issue. Before I join anything else, because it was always nutritionists telling me what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, right? Always somebody telling you what to do. So I reflected and I realized my issue is not eating unhealthy food. It's not workout. I do work out. I do eat healthy food, but it's been consistency. That was a very, very big issue for me. And also my attachment, my emotional, my relationship with food. I was an emotional eater before I joined Shift. So it was my relationship with food and consistency that I struggled with. I did identify those two things. And I remember I had a long conversation with you talking about these two things, and you think Do you think you'll be able to address it? And you said, no, you're the ideal candidate for shift with these two issues. I remember.
Yes, I can imagine, having that conversation. Yeah. And that's so interesting that you say that. And, I'm getting this sense of deja vu because I think around the similar time last year, I was interviewing Ruma Malik, who was a past client, and she had shared exactly the same, like very similar sentiments that
Yeah.
throughout her adult life, she remembered being on a diet.
Mm.
And I love how you were able to, uh, you know, how you were able to reconcile with what was the deeper issue, like it was your relationship with food, and your management of emotions and linkage of them with the food that you eat versus
Correct.
a food group being a problem. Of course, perhaps you had this heightened fear of carbohydrates, but in general you had a pretty good understanding that
Yeah.
everything has worked, but it's worked for a small time.
Yeah.
And in the long run, you were not just looking to lose a bunch of weight, but you want to be able to maintain it while feeling
Absolutely.
happy overall. And
And feeling normal, not like I was on a special plan. I wanted fitness, nutrition to be a part of my life, not something separate from my life. Because when I had done something which was separate from my life, oh, this is a 3 month plan, this is a 6 month plan, it didn't work. So I wanted something that's going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life.
wow, love that. Yeah, I love that reframe.
Mhm.
So tell me, over the last from July till December, when we were working together, what were the things that you think you mainly worked on? What are the main changes that you developed in your mindset or in your habits? What changed?
So, firstly, I was able to address my biggest concern area was consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, I was able to address that. Secondly, my relationship with food changed.
Mm-hmm.
And to why it changed, because I realized I had a very black and white mindset.
Hmm.
This food is healthy, this food is unhealthy. Uh, it's either workout, with these specific workouts, these many days, 6 days workout or no workout. So it was a very black and white approach
Hmm.
that I realized I had. If I'm
Wow.
eating carbs, let's eat carbs for the next 3 days, then I'm going to go off carbs. So it
Yes.
was always that black and white. I would call it a black and white approach. And I think I learned to live in gray and be
Yeah.
okay with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me more about. So you said that your biggest struggles was being consistent and having a better relationship with food, and you seem to have made progress on both of them.
Yes.
So what was the change? How did what helped you make this change in? Let's talk about staying consistent. How did you think you progressed from someone who struggled with being consistent to someone who's feeling rather confident calling herself consistent?
So, as I said, it was a black and white approach. So it was not like if I'm not doing that particular workout, I failed.
Hmm.
Uh, it's I am doing some workout,
Hmm.
and I'm okay with that because I did something for my body. I did something good for myself. I cared for myself. It didn't have to be that challenging workout that I'd set out for. And
Right.
because every day is different, especially
Hmm.
with a 4-year-old at home, maybe the nights you've not slept. Maybe you can't do that strenuous workout that you planned for yourself. In the previous Aparna before shift, I would be like, oh, I haven't slept. I'm not going to do this workout. It's not going to happen. I'm like, okay, I didn't sleep. I'm going to do a stretching. I usually do a workout through videos. So I would do a stretching video for 30 minutes. I would just go for a walk. Even if I couldn't walk in the morning, I'd go for a walk after meal at night, which find more peaceful actually. Walk late at night as compared to walk early in the morning. So, but and it was okay because at the end of the day, the focus was looking after yourself, caring for yourself. Self care was the objective. It wasn't about achieving that uh, challenging workout, which I did incorporate, but it didn't have to be that particular day when I had
Wow.
decided. Yeah, yeah. So I think the statement we use in shift was showing up imperfectly
Yes.
and
Yes.
being okay with that. I think
Yes.
that's the key, being okay with showing up imperfectly.
Wow.
And so for me to accept that was the biggest achievement as part of shift.
That's huge. So
Yeah.
because especially because you're someone who, it's not like you didn't know what kind of workouts to do, how to
Yeah.
exercise. You were always a person who was very particular about her workouts, but how to be happy with doing what you can rather than
Do what you can. Exactly. Yeah.
setting yourself up these big goals, which are that I should be working out every day, these big shoulds, and then failing and then feeling like a failure, and then that
Yeah.
failure
Absolutely.
creeping into everything else.
Yeah. You worded it excellently.
Oh. So tell me, Aparna, what about let's talk about your relationship with food. You said that's something you've where you made a lot of progress. What you said that you had a lot of you had this tendency to put things into very hard buckets. That this is a carb and this is the time I'm going to eat it, either of timeline, timing of food, or food macronutrient type. So
Yeah.
how has that changed? How has your how did you learn to relax around food? Just a second, I'm wondering if this is my network that's giving me a problem, because Aparna seems to have frozen. Okay, guys, just checking. Are you? Yeah.
I just heard you till the part you said macronutrient.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
that, I didn't get you.
Sorry, there was a problem in the network.
Yeah.
So I was asking that how do you think you let's pick up carbs as an example. How do you think? Tell us about that journey. What was your experience and perception, and also your your felt bodily sensation with carbs earlier, and how has it changed now? How do you feel around them now?
So, all the diets that I had been on, I found the result in my favor when I had given up carbs or I was on minimal carbs. So it was, and I'd also done some research that my body type reacts to carbs in a certain way. And then the kind of tools we had as part of Shift, it made me reflect on my experiences while eating carbs and trying to identify why is it not something compatible with my body. And I realized it's not carbs, it was actually just wheat. It was
Mm.
wheat which was causing me issues, not carbs in general. I was okay with rice. I was okay. And as part of Shift, I've actually lost weight eating carbs. Eating not just carbs, I've lost weight eating sweet as well. So, and I think one of the key reasons why I selected me to be here, I think because I made that comment where I made a shift in 25 years by, shifting my perspective regarding carbs. So,
Wow.
like I would always declare no carbs for me, no carbs, and carbs are not for me. And now I've actually lost weight incorporating carbs in my diet. So that has been a pretty big thing for me.
That is truly huge, Aparna. And
Yeah.
I want to share this with the audience a little bit. That when you when prospective clients and I explore together if shift is right for them. So one of the questions I like to ask them, and those of you that I'm having enrollment conversations with would have seen that one of the questions I ask is, what are you ready to do and what are you not ready to do? So when it came to ready to do, Aparna, of course, had a lot of things that she was ready for. When it came to not ready, she only had one thing. She said, just don't ask me to eat carbs. Everything else is okay, because my body does not respond to carbs at all. And
Yeah.
and and at that point, it was important for me to recognize that, okay, this exists. This there is this deep-seated perception,
Yeah,
belief
yeah.
that carbs are not right for her. And if I can help her feel comfortable with that, like relax around that and not create that like, no, but carbs are okay. So the idea in Shift, we don't try and convince you that no, you should eat everything and you need to eat carbs. No, you learn through your own experience and experimentation, and by reflecting on your experience. And that's what Aparna is saying, that she got these tools, which just a second. Sorry. You get these tools which help you to reflect on your daily experience, which then helps you improve your awareness rather than working from this set of, hard beliefs that you've built around. So, we encourage you to experiment and see how that goes for you. So, and through that sets of experimentation in a safe, compassionate space, as you can see, Aparna has changed how she feels around carbs, around sweets, and she's not felt as comfortable around them in the last 25 years.
25 years, yes.
That's huge. Wow. So tell me, Aparna, what was different inside Shift? What do you think was, a change from, how is it different from what you learned before or heard before or done before?
I think two things were key. First was that the change was from within. All the other things you do, you see the change from outside. Here, the change was from within. And the second thing was the sense of empowerment you had through the program. I know I made this bizarre uh, example I gave you that, whenever the nutritionist tells me, I will give you this to eat, I will give you that to eat. I'm like, I'm not a dog. You don't have to give me something to eat. So I didn't like that. You can't take my sense of control away from me as far as food is concerned. I like to know. So I dislike that part. Where the nutritionist was give you something to eat. So, but here you decide everything yourself. You are in control of your plan. You are in control of your day. You are in control of your meals. You are in control of what goes inside you. What you do for movement. So I specifically like this part where you are empowered through this program to look after yourself, to look after your nutrition, to look after your fitness.
Wow. And while that's something that really that helped you stay in the game, I must also add that that's something that scares people a lot as well. Like, there are a lot of people who'd be like, just tell me what to eat and I'll follow your instructions. And, don't ask me to apply my mind, because, they've had this, they feel that whenever they're applying their own mind, they mess up. And it's better. Yeah, it's better for them to just get the instructions and you're the expert and tell me what to eat and I will do it. So, Shift is for people who are ready to, take charge, because you're at a state. So if, for example, someone's trying to lose weight for the first time, I don't think Shift is the right vehicle for them.
Yes, absolutely.
You need to have been through different places and, tried different things and seen how they work for you. And then you realize that, okay, now you want to take charge and you want to be in control. And you want to have autonomy and flexibility around your food choices.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So this was again part of the reflections I had before joining Shift, that, why do I really need someone to tell me what to do? And especially after having a child and, balancing multiple priorities, then you have this plan in front of you and you have to, work around your life around that plan. And you're setting up yourself for failure. When I was not married, I was staying at my parents' place, food was taken care of. Maybe it was still possible,
Manageable. Yes.
manageable. Especially with COVID, you're pretty much on your own. So, then you have this plan on top of your head and go follow that. It was too much for me. I realized I don't want something that the person, tells me, go do this. Oh, how can you not? And, there were bizarre things like the nutritionist would give you no salt the night before you take your weight. So that comes down and then you feel motivated. Or 2 days without any oil or salt, so that you get that. I don't want things like this. I can't do this with a child. I'm not sleeping days. Uh, there's so much on your mind. There's so much on your plate. I can't have be functioning without food or salt, for that matter. So, even right now, I see people posting on Facebook groups and Gurgaon groups. Nutritionist posting, join me. I feel like writing, don't join them. You will regret it.
Oh man, it pains my heart because I so hear you. This is so crazy, right? That we have so much, we build so much success for ourselves as working women in so many areas of our life. But when it comes to food and managing our health and body weight, we find it so much simpler to outsource the thinking and to then follow instructions which don't make sense to us. And overall, we want to question everything, like why did my colleagues say that, and what is the new policy that this employer is bringing, and what is behind it. But when it comes to diets, like, I was in this enrollment conversation yesterday, and this lady shared that she was on a diet plan where every Saturday she was meeting her nutritionist, and starting Friday afternoon she was supposed to be off salt until Saturday.
Yeah, same.
Which was meant
might
to
be the same person she's talking about.
which would be the time when they take away in. And I'm wondering in my head that is this weight loss or is this weight manipulation? Because this is clearly manipulating, your body weight by using a simple set of tools, which are 100% unsustainable. And the thing is that, so we anyway, all I can say is that thank you for taking that brave step of reaching out. Okay. So how do you mentioned that you get a lot of autonomy inside shift, and things are not spelled out for you, but you're encouraged to experiment. How was your experience? I'm going to just throw this, probably put you on a spot here, but how was your experience of working alongside a bunch of other women? Because people sometimes feel that, how will my needs be taken care of if I'm working along with a bunch of 15 other women? How do you think that was for you?
So, when you started the conversation, you said how Aparna worked with a bunch of women. So I wanted to add that a bunch of very, very supportive women. So that made a lot of difference. And it's, I think Shift is probably one of the only programs where you are working with a group, and you're sort of rooting for each other. You are supporting each other, and you realize you're not the only one who's having these bad days. There's so many others are going through the exact same thing, and I'm not the only one. And that's one of the first things makes you realize, okay, it's normal what you're feeling, having a bad day. You're not meeting up to the standards you've set up for yourself, not just in fitness and nutrition, for other things as well.
Yes.
At work, at home, as a mother, as a wife. So you realize you fall, and it's normal, and you have these bunch of people telling you, it's the same thing for me. And it just makes it so much, the whole program was so accepting, so authentic, so genuine, everybody coming up, showing up on those weekly meets. And I think they're very, um, it's a very, very strong support group, I would say. And it made a lot of difference to have those group calls,
Wow.
group sessions. Yeah.
The reason I didn't say supportive women in the beginning is because I was trying not to, like, I was.
So I'll add that very, very supportive group of women.
Thanks, Aparna. So, how do you think, coming to numbers, or not necessarily numbers, but like metrics, health metrics, how do you think things have changed for you overall in the last 6 months?
When I joined the program, I had you had asked that, what are you setting up as your goal? And weight loss was not one of my goals. I did not say that I want to lose these many kilos of weight, because I knew exactly what I have to address and what I'm joining for. But in the process, I did lose the weight. In the process, I did lose the inches. I was fitting into clothes that I wasn't fitting into, say, 3-4 years back, before my daughter was born. So it did feel good. But I did not have that obsession. I have, having been on so many programs previously, I knew that the number on the scale is not a reflection of your health. So when I joined the program also, that was not a key factor for me to determine my success through Shift. So, but nevertheless, the shift happened on the scale as well. So besides the mind, besides, your perception, everything, your perspective, everything. So the shift happened on the scale. So it was inside and outside the shift, I would say.
Yeah. So, like you said, the biggest goals for you were, having a relaxed relationship with all kinds of food, right? With being consistent and showing up on your behaviors. And as you focused on that, there was weight loss that happened, which was unintended, but it came as a byproduct. And more important than weight loss, there was inch loss. And you started feeling a lot more supported and confident, but knowing that there are other people on a similar journey as you. So is there something that you want to share about how your experience was of working with me. What would be your last few words to people who may be considering shift, but one probably on the fence right now?
So I would say that you should be ready to be your own boss.
Yeah.
One, Jasneet is one of the coolest. Uh, what should I say? No, I can't say the nutritionist, but she's the coolest people to work with, coolest coach, I would say. I've ever worked with. It's an extremely supportive environment, and one doesn't realize the importance of it until you're actually in it. So, and it wasn't just me and Jasneet, it was a whole group of people who resulted in, who got their results because of each other as well. So, uh, so working with Jasneet is the most, I mean, don't expect to be told what you have to do, what you don't have to do, but expect the highest level of support possible.
Wow.
Mm.
Thank you. Thanks, Aparna. That's huge. And I must add that as Inside Shift, like Aparna said, we work with we start as a group, with similar goals. We work through practices. We're basically building skills, right? But we also do a lot of active reflection and introspection on those practices. Now, Aparna was someone who was very involved in the process of doing this reflection and introspection, because you get resources and you're supposed to ideally go through them. Many people would go through them, some would not. So Aparna was always, she applied herself in a way that she um, nudged herself to think more deeply about her choices, to think more deeply about how she felt about after acting certain way, how she how different experiments worked for her, and she took the time to actively reflect and write down those things and share them on a constant basis. Because change is not just doing different things, but it's also thinking and noticing and reflecting and sharing how those things are working for you, so that you can internalize that deeply. And she continues to do that, and we have a shift level 2 which is now in place, and Aparna is will be joining us for that. So she's ready. Like she said, she was ready to be her own boss, but she was also ready to commit for the long haul, right?
Mm.
And she's done that, and she's shown up. So thanks, Aparna, for being such a fun person to work with.
It was my pleasure.
For showing up, on all the weekly calls, for making that group the supportive group that it is. It's each one of you who does that, through your showing up and being your authentic selves.
Yeah, and there's one more thing I'd like to add is that a lot of things that were introduced in the program were things that I had tried on my own, several of those things. And but again, I had not been able to commit myself to those in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something about the entire program, about Jasneet as a coach, about the support that you get as a group, that you're able to incorporate them as a part of your life.
So, if I'm wondering if you can give an example.
For example, eating mindfully. This is
Okay.
something I had tried many times. I had tried it, and I knew it's an important thing uh, to develop a relationship with food. So I had done that, but it was not a part of my life. And now I don't even have to sort of, check if I'm eating mindfully. It just comes naturally.
Wow.
It's become a part of my life. It's not a checklist that did I eat mindfully today. I don't have to see. It's become a practice that comes naturally, even though
Okay.
I had done it many, many times previously.
Wow. Wow. So
So
it's
either, yeah, so the whole thing of, I think, doing it with somebody who's supporting you through the process, the tools that have been given, um, the support that you get, or just the fact that you're doing it consistently, even if it's imperfect.
yes.
Yeah. So it was a whole program that made me incorporate something as simple as eating mindfully into my life, make it a natural part of my life.
That's huge, Aparna, because that's the whole idea, right? That when you start, you will fumble, and then you will practice and you learn more, and then slowly there'll be a point when you won't even need too much of accountability. You won't need that poking that, hey, you didn't check in, did you eat mindfully today? But it just comes from inside, because you
Yeah.
enjoy eating mindfully so much that you don't like to eat any other way. Then,
Yeah. And again, that point that you made about faltering, uh, if it was me before shift, that faltering would mean I don't think I can do this.
ah,
But to get back on your feet after that faltering, it happened because of you and
hmm,
the program.
wow,
And
love that.
that's what made it a practice, a habit.
So faltering, instead of meaning failure, you start looking
Yeah.
at it as feedback. What can you learn
Feedback.
from that?
Yes.
Wow, that's huge. Thank you, Aparna, so much.
Most welcome. Thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Aparna. Thank you for sharing your authentic experience. I loved doing these chats. I was sharing offline before we press the live button that I love these calls, because these interviews, because my job is to sit and listen. And I'm not coaching. I'm simply listening and asking questions. And though it's very similar to coaching, but it's also very different. So I really enjoyed this half an hour with you.
Same
Thanks
here,
for
and
joining.
I'm looking forward to the second edition.
Yes, absolutely. So am I. We're getting ready to hit the ground running with the new shift. And for those of you who are watching, please, we start shift level 1 on 17th of January, and the enrollments are open now. So if you're interested, leave a comment saying, tell me more. And I would love to reach out and talk to you on a call like this and find out if shift and you and me are made for each other, because this is one approach that works for a certain kind of person. So if there is a mix between the two, then we can work together and we can have fun while you lose weight, change habits, and change your mindset. So hit me up if you think this is something that interests you. And on that note, I'll take your leave. Thanks again, Aparna, for your precious time. And I'll see you guys around. This is Coach Jasneet signing off, reminding you to eat mindfully, laugh for no reason, and don't sweat the small stuff. Thank
Bye.
you and bye.
Bye.